Okay, so let me ask you a question right out of the gate. How do you make 80,000 rupees in just 30 days completely from scratch? And, oh, you don't have a job, you absolutely refuse to take out a loan, and you're just sitting right there at home. Now, most people would instantly say, well, that's literally impossible. But is it? Because what we're going to explore today is going to completely shatter that limiting belief.
Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are unpacking a really fascinating timeless framework from a book called 1,000 Ways to Make $1,000 by F.C. Minaker. The fundamental truth this book drops on us is that making money, it's not some mystical game of luck. It's actually a highly structured, totally learnable skill. And once you learn the mechanics, honestly, your whole perspective just shifts.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Here's our roadmap. We're going to hit the secret to wealth, solve first, build later, sell your expertise, the power of retention, small starts, big visions, and finally, create true value.
Now, to really get why these principles are so powerful, you kind of need some context. Minaker didn't write this book during some massive economic boom. No, he wrote it in the 1930s, right smack in the middle of the Great Depression. I mean, back then there was widespread poverty. People literally did not have money for food. Fast forward to today, and sure, we face our own set of headaches, right? Inflation, job scarcity, just general economic anxiety. But here is the absolute crucial point. The principles of wealth creation that worked during the darkest financial crisis in modern history, they are completely crisis-proof. They are just as effective for us today as they were almost a century ago.
So let's jump straight into Section 1, the secret to wealth, spotting problems.
The absolute most fundamental rule of business is this: where there's a problem, there's money. It really is that simple. Average people look at a problem and, well, they just complain about it. But an entrepreneur, they see a business. Let's look at a super relatable example. In almost every neighborhood, you've got elderly residents whose kids live far away and they really struggle to use their smartphones. Now, the wrong approach is to just say, ugh, why don't they just figure it out? But the right approach, the entrepreneurial approach, is to say, hey, this is a real problem and I can solve it. If you spend just, 2 hours a week teaching them how to use WhatsApp video calls, maybe UPI payments, or even basic AI tools, and you charge just 500 rupees a month, well, the math does itself. 10 homes equals 5,000 rupees a month. And your total upfront investment for this? Absolutely zero.
And if you're thinking, yeah, but problem solving only works on a tiny scale, let's look at Phanindra Sama's journey. Back in 2005, he was incredibly frustrated because he literally couldn't get a bus ticket to go home for Diwali. He took that massive, incredibly annoying problem, the totally disorganized offline bus booking system, and he started Redbus in 2006. His initial investment? Just 5 lakh rupees. Fast forward to 2013, and he sold it to the Ibubo Group for 800 crore. I mean, that's wild. You don't need to invent a brand new, crazy technology. You just need to find what people are struggling with and offer the fix.
Which brings us perfectly to Section 2, solve first, build later. You gotta validate your idea.
Now, this is where most people get it completely backwards. The common trap is spending like 6 months of your time, your energy, and your savings building a product, only to launch it and hear absolute crickets, because nobody actually wants to buy the thing. Minnie Gonecker argues you absolutely must validate before you build. Take a home tiffin service, for example. Step 1 is not going out and buying a massive commercial stove and bulk groceries. No way! Step 1 is messaging 10 friends or neighbors and saying, hey, if I deliver a hot home-cooked meal daily for $100, would you buy it? Step 2 is getting at least 5 solid, real commitments. Only then, at Step 3, do you actually bother setting up your kitchen. You ask for commitment first to prevent failure. It's the exact same logic that today's multi-billion-dollar tech startups use, and this guy wrote it down in the 1930s.
All right, let's move on to Section 3, sell your expertise, not your time. This specific technique requires shifting your mindset completely away from that traditional 9-to-5 grind. Think about it. When you're an employee, what are you actually selling to your boss? You're selling your time, and time is strictly finite. You literally only have 24 hours in a day, which means your income has a hard, fixed ceiling. Maybe that's a 50,000 rupee salary, and that's it. But an expertise-based consultant, they aren't bound by time. A chartered accountant, for instance, could advise 5 small businesses part-time, charging them 10,000 rupees each. Boom. They make that exact same 50,000 without the grueling, full-time single-employer commitment. They are selling what they know, not just punching a clock.
Now, I know exactly what some of you are thinking, but I don't have any fancy expertise like a CA. Well, hold on a second. Let's really think about this. Do you know how to manage messy data in Excel? Can you whip up a decent flyer in Canva? Do you know how to edit reels or write basic C++ code? Or honestly, even just use AI to generate prompts and images? That right there, that is your expertise. As Mina Curso profoundly notes, what you already know is incredibly valuable to someone who doesn't know it. It really is. You just have to learn how to package it up and sell it.
Moving right along to Section 4, the power of retention. We're talking repeat business here. This is arguably the most underrated technique of the whole bunch. Did you know it is a proven mathematical fact that it takes 5 times less energy to sell to an existing customer than it does to go out and hunt down a brand new one? 5 times. The easiest person in the world to sell to is the person who has already handed you money once.
Let's see how this actually looks in the real world. Think about the average worker. Let's say a painter finishes painting your living room, takes the cash, and you literally never hear from them again. They constantly have to hustle and sweat for that next gig. But compare that to a smart entrepreneur. That exact same painter calls you up 6 months later and says, "Hey, the monsoon's just passed and walls tend to get a bit damp. Would you like me to pop over and do a quick touch-up check?" That is repeat business. Or think of a local barber who has 50 regulars. They've built themselves a completely stable, predictable income loop. Great service creates retention, and retention is the backbone of every single major business out there.
Next up is Section 5, Small Starts, Big Visions, which is honestly the ultimate cure for overthinking. People so often get completely paralyzed by overthinking. You know the feeling, right? They either think so big that they get intimidated and never even start, or they think so small that they never actually grow. Mr. Knocker's formula is beautifully simple. Start incredibly small, but plan for the big leagues. Let's map it out. Month 1, you're just baking chocolate cakes from your home kitchen for your friends. Nothing crazy. Month 3, okay, you launch an Instagram page to show them off. Year 1, the demand grows and you open a tiny local bakery. Year 2, suddenly you're fulfilling massive bulk corporate orders, bringing in 1 lakh a month. Think about it. If you had tried to start at year 2, stressing out about office space, hiring staff, getting massive investments, you never would have baked that first cake.
And hey, if you need more proof, McDonald's didn't start as a massive global franchise. Not at all. It started as a tiny, humble roadside burger stall. So the next time someone maybe mocks you for starting a small side hustle, just smile, because you know exactly where you are headed. You know that every single giant leap starts with one simple, small step.
And now we arrive at our final pillar, Section 6, Create True Value. Never beg for a price.
This is a total mindset alter. Let me pose a scenario about 2 different freelancers. Who do you genuinely think is going to earn more money? The average freelance video editor does exactly what the client asks. They edit the file, they send it over, and they wash their hands of it. Done. But the value creator? Oh, they edit the video, sure, but they also say, hey, I noticed this middle part kind of drags, so I optimized the first 30 seconds for way better audience retention. And by the way, here's a custom thumbnail suggestion that's definitely going to get you a higher click-through rate. See the difference? The value creator isn't just providing a basic service. They're actively working to make their client richer and more successful. Listen, people who just chase money usually stay poor, but people who chase creating immense value, they literally have the money chase them.
And that brings us to the core, guiding philosophy that ties all of Miniker's 1,000 ways together. As he so perfectly puts it, money follows those who make life easier, better, or more comfortable. It's universal. Whether you're an employee bringing innovative, smart solutions to your boss so you can get that promotion, or a shopkeeper advising a customer on the absolute best product for their specific needs so they become a customer for life, your income is directly dictated by the value you put out into the world. So we've covered the whole shebang, solving real problems, validating before you spend a dime building, selling your unique expertise, retaining those hard-earned customers, starting small but aiming high, and creating just immense value. These principles survived the Great Depression, guys, and they absolutely 100% apply to whatever economic hurdles we are facing right now. The big takeaway here is this: a lack of money isn't really a lack of money. It's actually a lack of ideas, and far more importantly, it's a lack of action. The ideas, well, they're sitting right here. So I want to leave you with this final kind of provocative thought. What will you start today? Honestly, don't wait for the perfect time because it doesn't exist. Grab just one of these concepts and just begin. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer.